All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alan Todd, the founder and CEO of CorpU. Thanks so much for being here this afternoon. I, by the way, cannot see a single human being, in case you're wondering. So we set out at CorpU to sort of solve at the intersection of three big problems that businesses have, and we think of it as managing the people side of business transformation. So we work with a lot of basically all corporate learning, corporate education, and senior leaders to help lead them through the people side of change. And so sort of the three big problems that have not been addressed well. Number one, if you look at any study on leadership development, companies spend about $25 billion a year on leadership development. You will still see in any CEO survey that lack of a leadership bench is one of the top one or two or three things that keep them up at night. So that hasn't changed in 25 years, despite the fact that the industry continues to grow and companies tend to keep spending more. Strategy execution is another one. So companies fail to deliver the desired result when they have a strategic imperative or an initiative that they want to hit about 70% of the time. And as organizations have delayered, collaboration is a mandate. So people have to work with others to get work done. There are just simply fewer people that have to work in a much more productive capacity. And yet 90% of collaborative issues don't get it done, according to Gartner. And so there's deep research on all of these things. And if you ask executives if they're good, why can't you execute? What you'll see is that they feel like they're pretty confident about developing and formulating the strategy, but they don't have a lot of confidence in the organization's ability. They hand it off to go get people trained and developed and built to go execute. And so they don't feel good about that. And so just another sort of point, when you look at it, how many organizations feel confident that their people understand the strategy, that it's connected to a business metric that matters, that's important to the business, that they want to achieve something. And finally, the third piece, do they even believe they have the capabilities to do it? And what you see in this study, is a rather large study, is that a supermajority of leaders believe that they don't have anything they need to pull this off, because nobody's built a purpose-built platform to close that strategy execution gap, to help senior leaders execute strategy and build the capabilities required to do that. And that's what we've done at CorpU, and we call that strategy activation. And if you get that right, there's a big premium to be paid. These are the 6 barriers that we focus on. So when you're rolling out a large change initiative, we make sure you're rolling this out to thousands of employees. Our customer base are large Fortune 500 companies. So we work with the leadership team at the senior level all the way down to the frontline leader. But when you're rolling out a strategy, a large strategic change, we do this for companies like Walmart, we do it for Cisco, we do this for Johnson & Johnson. And we make sure when you're rolling it out, do they get it? Do people basically understand it? And by the way, many times it's not so coherent. We find that out. Are they bought in? Do they like it? Are they committed to it? Do they know what levers to pull? So are you asking people to do something new? Are they capable of doing those things? And so we put all that together, and again, strategy activation, it's about getting people to engage in a structured dialogue, to introduce them to content as a lens through which they have a conversation and talk about what it is they do in their part of the business and what gaps they have. And if we can help roll that out, the old way people rolled things out, they did a town hall meeting. So a lot of our customers will do a project to roll out a strategy at a Walmart. They'll do a town hall meeting, and we'll say to the strategy owner there, how many questions, how much conversation do you get when you roll out that strategy? They'll say 3. You say, put the strategy on CorpU, get it to 6,000 managers, and we'll get 12,000 conversations going, and then we'll use deep analytics to tell you the extent to which people get it, the extent to which they're bought in, the extent to which they're willing to connect across boundaries to get that going. And so we do that by connecting people in groups. If you think about how people learn, they learn in formal and informal ways, and you learn alone and in groups. Everything we do is about connecting people together in groups, so it's the right half. And it's doing it in formal ways, where there's formal guided learning journeys, and doing it in informal ways where people can build together in a community of practice. And it's about creating an environment in which it's completely focused on the business result first and the capabilities and skills second. So what we've done in education is flip the ends and means. And that's the focus of CorpU. And that's kind of the magic that we deliver for companies. And what we help them do is, when you're rolling out a strategy, move from corporate communication techniques, from monologue to dialogue. And that therein lies the magic. If we can get people to have hundreds or thousands of conversations and use deep analytics to analyze those conversations. We have all kinds of structured dialogue techniques, idea tournaments, problem swarming. There's all kinds of cool ways to get people to engage in doing fun things to make strategy more interesting and more accessible. And so we do that through these things that we call sprints. And so a sprint is something that is short and structured. It is a group of people in a guided, paced cohort. So there's an expert guide, and we have content. So I mentioned it could be the company's content in the case of Cisco or Walmart, so proprietary strategy. But it could be that we need to close skill gaps, and we partner with faculty from schools like we've done the Harvard program on negotiation, the Wharton program on leading breakthrough change, and we build those big programs, and we use those, remember, connecting people together in purpose-built groups to solve complex problems, generate and spread ideas, to teach and learn from each other and from these outside experts, and to capture that knowledge and amplify it across the enterprise. That's kind of the magic of how it all fits together. We do it for a lot of big companies. And this is kind of where it all comes together. When it's all said and done and you go on this journey, we can tell you with analytics where some early warnings are. So if the strategy's off track, we had one that was going out to a couple thousand salespeople, Fortune 100 retailer, one of the biggest retailers in the country. This is not Walmart. And they were rolling something out in their B2B sales organization, which was different to a couple thousand. And the early warning system started firing off at about the second or third day. The chief sales officer could tell that they were off track and they weren't getting it. And with our early warning systems, they were able to stop the strategy execution, retweak the content, retweak the strategy, retweak what we were teaching, and go again. And I asked, well, how would that have happened if you did it the old way with workshops cascaded across the country? How long until you got it? With us, it took 3 days. He said it would take 9 months, and we would have lost the entire year had we done it the old way. And the identification of change champions, so we can see by engaging people in dialogue, where is that hidden army that you need, the change champions to help you drive that. And then we force rank urgency and importance, so we can tell you what things they deem to be the most urgent and the most important. And idea tournaments help you crowdsource new and different ways to solve problems. And we have tournament winners, and our customers pick strategic imperatives based on that. So thank you all very much. We're CorpU, so thank you.